This meeting today, this workshop of today, is very important for Kenya's wildlife, and particularly because our vision as Kenya Wildlife Service is thriving wildlife and healthy habitats. And when we come here to talk about birds of prey and bringing in all the energy sector, we realize that the country must develop, and because development and conservation must work together to come hand in hand. And for me today as Kenya Wildlife Service, we are happy because this is a partnership that is bringing in all the players in the energy sector and us to create awareness, particularly to the infrastructure developers and particularly the power developers, that we can actually, development can coexist with wildlife when we partner together to learn on how we can mitigate the risks, particularly in Laikipia, being that almost 3/4 of Laikipia is under conservation of wildlife.
What is happening is that the energy sector is expanding. Kenya has got a target of having a universal access of electricity by 2030, and to achieve that, the several infrastructure projects, power lines are being built, both transmission and distribution. So as these power lines expand, there's increased interaction between the power lines and the wildlife biodiversity. So there's need to have a sustainable environment. So there's been a lot of electrocutions of wildlife and birds on some of the power lines which have already been built. So we are here to find solutions to mitigations. What do we need to do? What can the energy sector do to make power lines much safer for the wildlife?
There's a very serious problem with electrocution of wildlife, in particular with birds of prey. They are the most electrocuted species of wildlife that we have globally, but certainly here in Kenya. So it's not just a Kenya problem. This is a very much a global problem. We're working primarily, my organization, with birds of prey because they are the number one electrocuted group of species when it comes to energy infrastructure. We hope that we can develop better mitigations and also better planning so that when this energy infrastructure is being built, particularly in these rural areas now where the last mile projects are being developed in a lot of these remote areas, there's a lot of need to have these conversations with the energy sector so that we're building structures in good areas to begin with. Almost 200 electrocutions of all different kinds of wildlife, but half of that is birds of prey. And those have been collected over the last 5 years. So, and I know if we talk a little bit more to Kenya Wildlife Service and National Museums of Kenya, we would even increase that number. So we need to keep collecting this data just to show the energy sector that we do have a real serious problem here. Our birds of prey, our eagles, our vultures, even our owls have a really important role in the ecosystem. They are basically our predators in the sky. They are like lions in the sky. And believe it or not, we have a lot of people who come to Kenya just to see birds. Kenya is one of the top countries in the world for numbers of birds. We have over 1,000 species.